Sounded like.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the, I didn't.
Oh man, imagine this guy. There you go, that's
For the last time. Welcome, everyone, to the Monday, December 11th, 2023 regular school board meeting. Will you please call the roll?
Mr. Grant?
Present?
Mrs. Hagedorn?
Present.
Mr. Carpenter?
Present.
Mr. Leeds?
Here.
Mr. Fulham?
Here.
Would everyone please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.3, any additions or deletions to the agenda? No? All right, moving on to item 1.4. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hagedorn.
Mr. Carpenter?
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Mr. Leeds?
Aye.
Mr. Fulham?
Aye.
Mr. Grant?
Aye. Motion carried. Moving on to section 2, discussion and comments from the board. Item 2.1, the 2024 January organizational meeting. The Board of Education will hold its organizational meeting at Monroe Elementary School on January 8th, 2024 at 6 p.m. with the regular board meeting following. The tax budget hearing will be held at 5:30. Okay. Item 2.2, legislative.
Got some good news from Columbus. Last meeting, the fat lady was getting ready to sing that it was over with. Well, they told her to sit down because it's not. ASBO, the OSBA, and BASA sent a letter to the Senate Ways and Means Committee on December 5th. Wednesday of this week, they are looking at, the Senate is going to look at the changes that they want, and we are probably going to see a whole new Bill 187. So I'll give you an example. And Robert, I'm going to pass this down to you because it's 4 pages, but I'm going to give you an example of what they're going to do. The substitute bill temporarily expands the homestead exemption and requires local school districts to pay for half of this cost by foregoing the revenue that would otherwise be collected. While some school districts may be able to accommodate this lost revenue, others may not. And what they told the Senate was, considering the state's strong financial position with the rainy day fund at a record $3.65 billion and estimated general revenue fund ending cash balance of $1.73 billion for fiscal year 24. The actual physical year 24 GRF, General Revenue Fund, tax revenues through October at 219 million more than projected. We asked this committee to consider amending the bill to fully fund this tax relief for Ohio's neediest senior citizens. And there's several other in here that they're recommending, so several other things. So as of today, I talked to Thomas Hall today. He said that they're meeting, they hope to meet Wednesday, and they hope to be able to come up with something, an alternative that will get rid of half the stuff they're talking about.
Did he feel like they had a chance of
Yes,
dipping
he
into the
did.
rainy day fund?
Yes, he did. So, and there's other things in here about, things about the different ways, the LLCs. If you have an LLC company and they got a tax and they have a problem with paying the taxes, they don't have to pay it. And they're saying, wait a minute, we can't do that. So why it got in the bill to start with, I don't know, but it did. So I'll send this down to you. And then there's another There is another thing on the bill that just, it tells us what we can't do, as an example. This bill establishes restrictions on the Board of Education's ability to file property tax complaints by specifying that a conveyance fee statement for a sale must have been filed with the county auditor. And it says we can't challenge that kind of stuff. And it goes on, there's other things in here that we are not allowed to challenge if somebody doesn't, or somebody asks to have their taxes altered, we can't challenge it, like a company or something. So, like I said, he's gonna let me know Wednesday what they come up with, but he feels sure that there'll be some positive things come out of it.
I'm actually glad to hear that they're actually going to use some of the rainy day funds since it's been
Well, that's what they're asking to do,
untouched
you
since
know.
2020.
But that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's the reason they don't do it.
Yeah, it's like-
Okay, that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Pass that down.
2.3, Butler Tech.
Thank you, Honorable Board President Dave Grant. And Mrs. Honorable Vice President
Thank you.
Sagamore. Since it's his last one.
It is his last one.
And to the rest of the members of the board, thank you for having me again. I don't have my flyer that I usually pass out because my meeting is next week since this one's been moved differently, but I'll make sure you get a copy of that as soon as I can. I did attend the National ACTE conference in Phoenix last week. We had, I think, 11 presentations or something like that, so very, very, very busy week. And then Wednesday, I'm headed to the State House, and we're going to meet with, I think, 7 different legislators about career tech funding, school funding, and licensure for the state of Ohio as well. So that's going to be a very packed and busy day. We were recognized as one of the most innovative career tech centers in the country at this conference, and we've also been asked to have a spring visit for the Career Tech Association, and they'll be coming to Butler Tech on April 26th or 25th and 26th. Just other career tech centers are going to come from across the country, tour what we're doing, and hopefully take some of that back. We really do have a policy where anything that we're doing, we want to share. We want it to be done at other places around the state as well as around the country. So it's an open door policy. We want them to steal our ideas. So that should be pretty exciting. Getting ready for the holiday break. That's really about all I have going on right now. All the numbers and stuff are coming in. We did the RFQ for the aviation and the Hamilton Precision Machining place. We have a new welding program that's coming in, and I'm not going to rehash everything that John spoke about last week, or last meeting, so it's the same thing going on from that. But any questions?
What were the dates again in April?
April 25th and 26th. So, like, if anybody wants to go on that tour, it is for educators. It's not really a public tour, but you guys would qualify. I can set that up. Might be interesting for you guys to see some of it. So,
I'd like to.
if you're interested in doing that, just let me know.
Okay.
And I'll send you along with that, there's a conference stuff, and you guys don't have to do that, obviously, but if you just want to go on the tour that they're doing, then I'm more than willing to help schedule that for you guys.
And you said there's schools from across the country
Yes.
coming? That's impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Good. Anything
Okay.
else? Thank you, Mr. Guido.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
All right, 2.4, finance. Anything from finance?
No, not tonight.
Okay. Moving on to 2.5, student achievement.
So for student achievement, have just a little because we just had a board meeting not too long ago. But as for the high school, the student council is collecting cash donations this week during Hive Time for the Food from the Heart. And the money will go towards perishable items that Monroe families will need during winter break. I'd also like to recognize Clayton Herring. He is the type of student who regularly goes out of his way to assist others. He is incredibly encouraging, very socially aware, and is always willing to help out with a smile on his face. Last week, Clayton assisted an 8th grade student that was shadowing from another school. He did an outstanding job making sure the student felt welcome, comfortable, and included all day long. Clayton is proving himself to be a true leader within the freshman class. I'd like to thank Mr. Prohaska for sharing that with me. And then again, this week, the high school, our Hornets for Hope is a mental health and prevention club that is sponsoring Self-Care Week as an extra effort to support the students before finals. Some of the things that they're doing is Monday, today was Mental Health Monday. They had a video meditation. Treat Yourself Tuesday is Hot Chocolate Day. Wellness Wednesday, they're having desk yoga. Thankful Thursday, what are you thankful for? And Favorite Friday, friendship bracelets and pen pals. So I think that's kind of a fun thing to do before exam weeks and kind of raise spirits. And Santa. Oh, I forgot about that.
And the elf.
Santa and the elf is coming tomorrow. So this is very important. So if you're in the building, take pictures because we all want to see.
Adam, where's Adam? Lots of pictures.
Lots of pictures, Adam.
Video.
Yes. I'm sure it'll be out there for everybody to see. So for the junior high December Student of the Month, for 7th grade, it's Rebecca Booth. And Mr. Keppers has stated, I chose Becca because she is a joy to have in class. She has consistently brought a positive attitude and is always excited to learn and engage with her fellow students. Becca has grown so much, she is always asking questions and trying to learn to the best of her ability. She listens to directions and is very polite and respectful to everyone she interacts with. She is a leader in our classroom. She not only pushes herself, but helps her fellow students around her. Becca has done an excellent job of embracing the chase, standing and owning it, better together, and relentless effort. And I'm very lucky to teach such a great young lady. So congratulations to Becca. Our 8th grade Student of the Month is Lyric Willis Wright. Mrs. Decker has said, I would like to nominate Lyric Willis Wright for Student of the Month for November. Lyric demonstrates relentless effort in class each and every day. She is a hard worker and consistently on task, setting an example for others to follow. What sets Lyric apart from others is her kindness and willingness to help others, which creates that sense of unity and better together belief in our building. Lyric is a pleasure to have in class. Congratulations, Lyric. Then one of my favorite is this past Saturday, the primary had their 3rd annual Breakfast with Santa. Ms. Giffen shared that we have the best students and families at Monroe Primary. We had over 500 in attendance, and approximately 200 students wrote letters to Santa. Among all the requests for Barbies, Squishmallows, Mario Kart, Pokemon, there were also many who wished for everyone to be kind, to be smart, and wished for their family to have a wonderful year. A fun time was had by all, and it definitely put us in the holiday spirit. And I like to say that Santa was there as well, and I heard he did a fabulous job. And then last, I would like to recognize the Hornet of the Month Award for November 2023, Mrs. Sharkey. One student's recommendation was, I nominate Mrs. Sharkey because she helps me learn a lot about science. Before the year started, I was only interested in the biomes and phases of the moon, but since I have learned more in Ms. Sharkey's class, I have begun to find the plate tectonics and the layers of the earth very interesting. I look forward to science every day because I know that there will always be a fun lesson. Thank you, Ms. Sharkey, for helping me love science even more. I think that speaks volumes when you have a student that is interested in learning and wants to grow and says things like biomes and phases of the moon. That is not my cup of tea. I think it's great. So that's all that I have.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, moving on to item 2.6, MEA. Anyone from MEA? All right. We will move on to section 3, superintendent's other business, item 3.1.
It's recommended the board approve the following donations from the Monroe Primary PTO.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fulham.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds. Any questions?
Thank you for the.
Thank you for the
Aye.
donation.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
That's excellent.
All right. Mrs. Moore, please call the roll.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mr. Carpenter,
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn,
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye, motion carried. Moving on to section 4, communications, comments from the public. Seeing that we have none, we will move on to item 4.2, the annual food service and nutrition presentation. Mrs. Becky Nickel.
David's favorite meeting of the year.
Yes, the cookies, fantastic.
That was truly funny when you said, when you saw my name on the agenda, you knew immediately that
We
there
were
was going to be
getting
cookies, but in the mass production that they are. So I hope y'all enjoy those and things like that. It has nothing to do with my topic of the evening, which is nutritional standards.
So now you know next year, bring the cookies.
So, but anyway, so nutritional standards. It won't be as interesting as Holly's thing that she did. That was very nice and so on and so forth. But anyway, so here we go. Nutritional standards. The school meals have a significant impact on the nutritional lives of all children, especially low-income students who often eat both breakfast and lunch at school. As part of our Healthy Hunger Kids Free Act of 2010, the United States Department of Agriculture updated the nutritional requirements for reimbursable school meals. The Act of Congress helped to ensure every reimbursable meal requirements to emphasize whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and low dairy products with limits on sodium, saturated fats, trans fats, and calories. Students also have to have those 3 out of those 5 components, but one of those has to be a fruit or vegetable. As a result, more kids are eating school breakfast, giving them an opportunity to start the school day. Students have grown to like healthier school meals. Kids are eating more fruits and vegetables as a result of the updated standards, and 90% of the school reports that are successfully meeting the updated nutritional standards. Nutrient standards are intake levels of nutrients established by experts for healthy eating of healthy individual. So what does this mean? Nutritional guidelines and standards are rules, principles, and recommendations designed to improve the nutritional quality and quantity, as well as the adequacy of foods and meals in schools. What are those 7 main nutrients? Why, they are the essentials to our body. Each of those 7 major groups of nutrient performs different and unique functions in our body, which are all essential in balanced diet because they work together and contribute to our good health, which are your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats, your vitamins, your minerals, your dietary fiber, and of course water. Now, Monroe is an offer versus serve school, which means the National School Lunch Program and Breakfast Program, which means this allows students to choose from several food offerings to reduce food waste and increase the likelihood that students will eat what they choose. Under OVS, offer versus serve, students must select a fruit or vegetable at each meal and must take 3 of these items to qualify for the reimbursable meals. Why are there nutritional standards? Well, they require school meals to reflect the recommendations of the dietary guidelines for Americans. Minimum standards for school meals are essential to help ensure that all schools nationwide follow uniform science-based standards to deliver wholesome meals in the most efficient and effective way. Minimum nutritional standards are also support program integrity and the responsibility use of our taxpayers' monies by ensuring the children are offered wholesome foods that optimize health and academic achievement and minimize the risk of a long-term chronic disease. The National School Lunch Program, again, requires 5 components, but only 3 out of the 5 can be chosen, but one has to be that fruit or vegetable. Fruits, grains, vegetables, meat alternative, or milk. As we transition back from COVID and free meals in the 2022-23, we saw an increase in meals even when students going back to the free and reduced and paid status. School year 23-24, we continue to see this trend of increased meals. 23-24, those who have been approved for reduced meals in the state of Ohio has waived that reduced cost to that student, which means those reduced kids that are categorically eligible are now getting those meals for free. The state is also looking into the same waiver for next year. They have not completed that, but they are looking into that. So with that note, which means a little footnote to our discussion of with the food service department and these standards, we've done very well since COVID and beyond. We've met all our expectations and have exceeded those expectations, and we are doing very well within our department, offering those kids everything we need to offer. So with those increased meals during the COVID and increased meals, we've had that abundance of funds in our account, and we are currently looking into the spend down of those funds, which are basically the assets or capital that we need to put back into our food service, such as new cooler, reach-ins, new warmers, things like that, that we can put back into the program, enhance it with different programs and so on and so forth. So we can are looking into that.
Okay.
Excellent. Any questions?
Any questions?
Good, thank you. It's a lot of good
Thank you, Becky.
information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Item 4.3, superintendent's update.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. I have a few things. I just wanted to, again, share. I know that the communication went out to all families about that email circulating around the state of Ohio. It was a very generic threat. The authorities almost immediately deemed it as not credible, but we do feel it's our duty to get that information out to parents. We had a very uneventful day, which is good, as they did across most of the state of Ohio. So I just did want to thank parents and community for their understanding with those kind of situations. Even though we don't feel it's credible, we always have to do what we can for the safety and security of our kids. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the work session we had last week and summarize a little bit from that work session. We did, again, talk about the possibility of the new building, and we are waiting, hopefully, to receive some news from OFCC about switching the base plan from an elementary to a high school, as they walked the building and looked at the building and said it does not make sense to do a primary with the repurposing of this building. So the two representatives definitely are leaning that way. We'll see if they can convince the OFCC to change their funding with that, which would be a big win for the district. Looking at that, funding options, I know we discussed them, and hopefully we can, with some of the new legislation coming down and when we have a better understanding of our true finances, we can look to see what type of bond issue or the amount for a bond issue, and hopefully our target would be November of '24. And with all that being said, I'm going to say this at every board meeting, just as a reminder, that this school district has not asked for any type of new money from the community since 2013. And they actually voted in 2016 to give millage back. So that is a tribute to the work that you guys did long before I came in, being fiscally responsible and working within your means. And so that is something that the community should definitely take note of and be appreciative towards. With that, the community facility meeting, the next one will be January 17th at 6 p.m. We have the date set. I will be getting communication out to that community group later this week to update everybody again where we are and plans moving forward. So, and the final thing that I wanted to say, I know she left, but I did want to say one more time, congratulations to Holly Cahill. She had a long and a very great career here. I think a true leader always leaves a place in a better spot than she found it, and that is definitely the case with Holly. And she was part of the interview committee that brought me here, so I got to thank her. Any questions? It'll be interesting to see what comes of that, Tom. If they didn't use the rainy day fund during the pandemic, I can't believe I think they need to, but I'll be surprised.
I'll
So
be shocked, but
pleasantly surprised.
pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
They need to use it.
Yep.
Just sitting in that fund, it's been raining a lot.
When you got that kind of money, they wouldn't miss what they're giving us.
No.
Right.
And it's been raining a lot since.
Well, what is the definition of a rainy day? I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't get any rainier than that, does it?
Correct.
No.
All right, thank you, Mr. Buzzard. All right, moving on to section 5, treasurer's business. Item 5.1.
I recommend the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting on November 20th, 2023.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs.
Second.
Hagedorn. Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Mrs.
Mrs.
Moore, go ahead and please call the roll.
Mrs. Hagedorn,
Aye.
Mr. Carpenter,
Aye.
Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye, motion carried. Item 5.2.
I recommend the approval of the treasurer's financial report for November 30th, 2023.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds. Thank you, Mr. Fulham. It's all yours.
All right. I just have a few comments. I will try to keep it brief. Last month, we reviewed the 5-year forecast, and it had an estimated gain of approximately $250,000 for the year. I had indicate that I thought the actuals would turn out better than that. We didn't really discuss the October monthly report in depth, but if you looked at it, it did show projected actuals to be closer to a $1.2 million gain. And after November is complete, we are still in that expected range. I have had the opportunity to have a few conversations with some of the departments. I still have more conversations yet to have to solidify those projections, and I'll be working on that. Otherwise, for the month, just a couple of highlights. Our interest was higher than projected by about $100,000. I will look at redoing that projection for the remainder of the year too, because that's holding strong. And we also had the $50,000 donation from the PTO that was unexpected, so that gave us a little bit more. That will likely be put back into the tech budget, so it won't be here for very long, but we did receive it. Outside of that, the total expenditures were right on target with the projections, and we are in a very good position still. So,
All right. Any questions?
Good.
All right. Mrs. Moore, please call the roll.
all right. I lost track.
Mr. Lee.
Did we didn't make,
Mr. Leeds and AJ was second.
thank you. Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mr. Carpenter,
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn,
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye. Motion carried. Item 5.3. Approve the bond fund report.
Yes, I apologize.
Oh, you're
I recommend that we approve the bond fund report for November 30th, 2023.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Fulham.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hagedorn.
Mr. Fulham,
Oh,
Hold on.
sorry.
There's one very important question.
Oh, yes, I
Is all the
forgot.
money where it's supposed to be?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn,
Aye.
Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mr. Carpenter,
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, Mrs. Moore. Moving on to Section 6, Superintendent's Personnel Business. Item 6.1.
I recommend that we block section 6.1 through 6.4.
Let's go through.
No.
Just go through.
All right. It's recommended the board approve the resignations of the following employees.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hagedorn. Any questions regarding 6.1? All right. Mrs. Moore, please call the roll.
Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn,
Aye.
Mr. Carpenter,
Aye.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye. Motion carried. Item 6.2.
It's recommended the board approve the hiring of the following new employees.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Fulham. Any questions on 6.2? Okay.
Mr. Carpenter,
Aye.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn,
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye. Motion carried. Item 6.3.
It's recommended the board approve the following extracurricular contracts. And if this passes, we'll have Mr. Silverman do a little introduction.
Yes. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fulham.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds. Gotta be quick, Tim.
Too slow.
Quick table.
Too slow.
Any questions regarding 6.3? May I have Mrs. Moore, please call the roll. I apologize.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mr. Carpenter,
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn,
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye. Motion carried.
I do want to say on that, the new head soccer coach, as we know, I shared last month about Coach Oster stepping down to coach his daughter's high school team. And so Coach Gronestad is following his footstep. He has been his assistant for the past few years, and I think the boys are very excited for him to continue with that program. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Silverman real quickly.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're very excited. I mean, a couple new coaches are being added to our staff, or one moving into a head coaching position, Billy Ganasta, our boys soccer coach. But really, with us tonight, I'd like to introduce to you our new head football coach, Mark Mueller. Mark comes to us with a really, really impressive resume. But, you know, when we started this process, you know, about a month and a half ago, you know, we had a lot of conversations internally. You know, what are those things that really we value as a school district, as in the community? And everybody wants to win football games. That's undeniable. But, you know, when we start looking at using our football field and our athletic fields as an extension of the classroom, you know, instilling the values that we believe are going to make sure, I always use the term, when our kids go off the hill for the final time, are they ready for life and ready to take on what comes at them next? And just continuing to have multiple conversations with Mark over that period of time. We're so aligned on what his goals are for our students and for his program. So for us, I mean, we're really excited. And then, you know, we go through these processes, and, you know, you call people and you talk to people, and man, you hear one thing after another, you get really, really excited. And I called Tom the other night last week. I was, you know, typing up the press release to go out, and I just called him. I go, I know I've seen this 1,000 times, but man, I'm really excited. Like, this is great. I was getting all pumped up just reading through his resume another time. So for us to be able to, you know, welcome Coach Mueller to Monroe, to Hornet Country, we believe he's going to be such a great fit for us, both on the football field and leading our student athletes in the community and preparing them for life. So I'd like to introduce our head football coach, Mark Mueller, and his wife, Elise, and welcome them to Hornet Country.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
You gotta get a good one. You get one. Oh, you get one. Yeah, you get a good one.
Glad to have you. Yep, looking forward to it. Thank you very much. All right. All right, before we move to section 6.4, we do have a special presentation. So if you all would like to come up. Right up front.
Over by the booth.
Yeah.
Way over there.
Front.
There you go.
You're good together, you're good.
All right.
All right. It's all.
This is,
Well,
did you want to say something?
No.
first?
No,
All right,
we're
this is
good.
a surprise for Mr. Busker, so here we go. And 1, 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Busker. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Very
guys have a concert you're supposed to be at? Thank you, that was very kind. I know some of you were there Saturday, and you did a great job at the primary building doing your carols and stuff. Great job, and good luck at your concert tonight. Well, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
Have a
you.
great concert.
Thank you, guys.
That's why we didn't want to block anything.
You're welcome. We were gonna put high fives up front. We were moving things around.
You're stalling.
We're going to do a
Okay.
high five 23.
Highlight.
23 review. It was moving too fast. All right, very good. All right, moving on to section 6.4.
It's recommended the board approved a correction from the May 22nd. It was just the date was wrong on the agenda, so they have to make that correction.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds. Any questions? Mrs. Moore, please call the roll.
Mr. Carpenter?
Aye.
Mr. Leeds?
Aye.
Mr. Fulham?
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Mr. Grant?
Aye, motion carried. Moving on to section 7, 7.1. It is recommended the board elect a president pro tem for the January 8th, 2024 organization meeting. May I have a motion to go into that, and then we will.
Yep. So moved. Second. You got it. No, you.
All right. AJ on the motion, Tim on the second. All right. All right, so now we'll go into discussion for the president pro tem. Would anyone like to make a recommendation for the president pro tem for the January 2024 meeting?
I recommend Tom Leeds.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, I would, all right. So we will go with we will call it the President Pro Tom for the January 8th, 2024 organizational meeting. Mrs. Moore, please call the roll. Oh,
Did we need a
We need to make a
motion?
motion.
Yeah.
Yep.
May I have a motion to approve Tom Leeds as the President Pro Tem?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fulham.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hagedorn. Mrs. Moore, please call the roll.
Mr. Fulham?
Aye.
Mrs. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Mr. Leeds?
Abstain.
Mr. Carpenter?
Aye.
Mr. Grant?
Aye. Motion carried. All right, thank you, Mr. Busker. And, hey, you were only just a couple shades of red.
I had no idea. I actually thought they were coming in to do carols or something.
Yeah.
It's not expected.
Then it worked great.
It was very nice.
All right, before we move to section 8, adjournment, we will do comments from the board, starting with Mr. Leeds.
Again, thanks to the staff for everything so far this year. It's been great. And Robert, happy birthday. No man should ever be that young, but that's good. And like you said before, congratulations to Holly and best of luck and long retirement.
Yes.
And Merry Christmas, everybody. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Fulham.
It's time for the ghost edition of the high fives from around the hive. High five to Mrs. Turvey and everyone involved in hosting the recent career and college readiness mock interviews. This is a fantastic opportunity to prepare our students for their future careers, as well as give our business partners the opportunity to sharpen their interview process. A representative from my company attended, and I heard nothing but positive comments from his experience here at Monroe. High five to our amazing pep band. We have had some exciting basketball in Hornet Country to start the year, and something that really makes the experience truly special is our talented student musicians who bring the sound. It is definitely a competitive advantage for our teams, and I appreciate all of the dedication it takes from each of you. And finally, high five to Mr. Buskirk, who is celebrating his 50th birthday and chose to spend it here at a board meeting with us. I also want to thank and congratulate the Buskirk family on relocating to their new home. I want to thank you all for your commitment to the district and officially welcome you to Hornet Country. And as we wrap up 2023, I hope that everyone enjoys the holiday season. I want to thank our entire staff for all that they do to keep our district operating at a high level. Let's have a great next couple of weeks in Hornet Country and prepare for an exciting 2024.
Okay, very good. Mr. Carpenter.
Not much to add on top of that. That was awesome.
Hey.
Just congratulations to Holly. Happy birthday to Robert. And everyone have a enjoyable holiday season.
Okay, very good. Mrs. Hager?
So basically ditto everything. So congratulations to Holly on her retirement. I hope that she finds some fun things to do on her free time now that she is retired and starting a new phase in life. And happy birthday to Robert. What an amazing way to spend a birthday here at this board meeting. I'd like to wish the students happy exam week next week, that they study and just always just do your best. That's what I always tell my kids and any student, just do your best and it should all work out in the end. So study and just do your best. And everybody have a great holiday season, spending time with your families, and a good winter break and time to recharge. So we start back in January with a strong, let's finish the year out. That's all I have.
Okay, very good. I will echo Holly, happy retirement. I think she is going to enjoy retirement. Just seeing the smile on her face, she is ready for retirement. So I wish her nothing but the best of luck. Again, happy birthday, Robert. Would like to thank Robert and also Amy, and then the rest of the administrators, our teachers, for a great first half of the year.
I just had a thought. I need to speak when you're done.
Okay. Very good. Honestly, I cannot believe the year is 2023 is coming to a close, and we're halfway through another school year just about. So, but thank you to everyone for all your hard work, our community members, our parents, students, and everyone in our staff for doing a great job. And lastly, I just want to thank you guys on the board for allowing me to be the president. For the last few years, it's been an honor to serve the community as the president, and knowing going into next year, I know we'll be changing, but I wanted to give a thank you to you guys and also the community. With that said, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season, and what else would you like to say?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you, Dave. But I wanted to thank the chorale choir for coming out with a last-minute organization, a couple emails, and hey, can you come out and sing for Robert? So I'm glad that worked out, and it was very kind of impromptu that we put it together, and I'm glad that it worked out. So
Yes.
Next year will be even bigger.
bigger.
We're actually going to schedule around it moving forward.
Like a petting zoo or something. So it's going to be crazy.
December 11th, we'll just make it, we're always going to have a meeting on December 11th.
There you go.
There we go. December 11th.
Tom did give me permission that I didn't.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's true.
You did have 1/5.
So you got to get this music. All right, with that said, may I have a motion, recommended the board adjourn the meeting tonight at 6:43 PM. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fulham.
second.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds. Mrs. Moore, please call the roll.
Mr. Fulham,
Aye.
Mr. Leeds,
Aye.
Mr. Carpenter.
No.
Okay. Mrs. Hagedorn.
Aye.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Could have been here
You guys are
forever.
no fun.
Motion carried.
Make Robert sit here a little bit longer.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Yeah.
Hell, Tom Leeds led the meeting off.
It did.
One hell of a
It was
joke.
perfect timing, too.
Yes, it was.
It was